Hi Johnny, thank you for joining me here on this Vegan Plant-Based Summit. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. I'm in sunny California. So what's wrong with that? Sunny and blue skies.
Absolutely nothing. At least you've got the sun where you are. Tell me a bit about your story, about your past. Where did the vegan journey begin?
Wow. Okay. We got time here because it's a long one. Vegan journey began actually as a vegetarian. And that was when I was 26, I believe. And that's when I became 26, 27. That's when I became sober from drugs and alcohol. And when I did that, I went into I wasn't really much of a meat eater to begin with. You know, I grew up in an Italian household, and that was a big part of the eating was meat related or cheeses or, dairy. And, but I was never big on that. So I already had a head start in the fact that I wasn't really into eating that type of stuff. So I was a vegetarian, and I did that for about 10 years. And the only difference really was cheese, which is always the key. It was always the cheese was the hardest thing for people to remove, and fish, but not every types of fish, just certain types of fish. And then I've been vegan, plant-based strictly for, it'll be 21 years. So total 31 years. So a long time. And back then, becoming a vegan was very difficult because the options were very minimal. Where in today's world, we have so much advancement with it that there's no excuse. I mean, there's something for something. And that's what I try to explain to people. And everybody actually who eats on a daily basis, if you break it down with them and tell them to write down what they actually eat, I guarantee there'll be one plant-based in their meal plan. Guarantee it. And they don't even realize that they are. So, yeah, so it's a long time, 31 years. So that's how I got into the journey thing. We're from being let's call it sex, drugs, rock and roll, to clean and eating clean and eating clean. Right. Yeah. So it's a balance. You always got to find that middle ground. It's a balance. You can't go from one extreme to the other. You got to kind of make your way there. Because if you go from one to the other, you're going to fall back. So you just have to kind of, find your middle ground. And once you find that middle ground, then it becomes a daily, every day, like it's no big deal.
So you're a humanitarian and you're an animal rights activist, and you're also an advocate for the environment. What were your triggers that kept you on the vegan path?
Well, let's clarify the titles. I'm an animal welfare advocate, not an animal rights, not an activist. I was when I was younger. Humanitarian, yes. Environment. I don't label myself as an environmentalist either, and I'll tell you that why. Because when you're vegan and living a vegan lifestyle, you're saving lives, animal lives, as well as your own health. So when you're so if you do a hashtag vegan for the animals, you're covering everything else. You're covering the environment. You're covering the humanitarian efforts. You understand? So you can't label every single thing. The reason why I don't put myself under the umbrella of animal rights or animal activists, because they're labeled. They're too to me, they're too radical. To me, if you want to educate people on animal welfare advocacy or humanitarian efforts or veganism, plant-based lifestyle, you can't go so aggressive toward them because they'll be turned off by it. So you have to you got to keep that balance. That's why so many come to me, and because I keep it simple. I try to simplify it for them. And when they understand that, and understand that if you're living a plant-based lifestyle for the animals, it will cover the environment. It will cover humanitarian efforts. And when they see that, and you put it together, because it all comes together, it makes a lot more sense.
you've just touched on it slightly, but you're a mentor, a mentor for people wanting to change their lifestyle. If someone was to think about transitioning from a meat-eating lifestyle to a vegan or a plant-based, or just going cold turkey and becoming vegan overnight, how would you mentor them? What would your approach be?
Well, what I said earlier was that how I approach it now even is that I have the individual write a list of what they eat on a daily basis. And when they make that list, they'll, if it's not like every day is different when you're eating, they have different, foods intake, but there'll be a plant-based peanut butter and jelly. P&J is plant-based. Okay. So they don't realize that. They say, oh, P&J, something to eat real quick, but it's a plant-based food group. So when they recognize that and they see that, and then you start educating them, you don't want to give them the horrifying side of it, because that's a turnoff to them. You don't want to, that's what I'm saying about throwing it in their face. You want to focus on their health more importantly, okay? And why you may have this, or why you may have this illness, or arthritic, or you're becoming more arthritic at a younger age, where if you did this, you wouldn't be. You try to kind of balance it out for them and let them recognize it, let them see it. Then you go into, if they're really intrigued with that, then I go into why it should be for the animals. And then, I explain about animals have feelings too. Animals have life too. Animals have a heart. Animals have, they're smart. So, and then from there, I go from, if you want this, there's a replacement for that. So if you want a hamburger, there's a replacement. If you want a grilled cheese, there's a replacement. So you could do all these compare notes. And when they see that, they're like, I never knew that. I used to tell people, when you're going grocery shopping and you buy a canned good, read the label. Read the label. If you're buying a box, read the label. If you can't understand what you're reading, then don't buy it. So in vegan products, it's very simple. There's maybe a true vegan plant-based product, maybe 7 or 8 different things on there, and that's it. So I try to give them, I just don't go into it aggressively. I try to feel the person out. And if they're really serious about it, then they'll understand it. And again, I go back to simplifying it. If you don't simplify it for them, they'll never learn. They'll never understand. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a guy who cares and just learning from my own experiences. I was actually almost my own guinea pig, trying different experiments and eating. I went to school to be a chef originally. Believe it or not, I went to school to be a chef. I hated it, but I went to be in school because I love to eat. I didn't look at it as like the hours you put into it and this and that. But that skill set, not that I'm a 5-star chef, but about cooking. There are simple recipes, as you see when I post simple recipes out there, just people to understand. That's all I do. It's just like, hey, I didn't know you could do that. Oh wow, that's great, wonderful. So that's how I approach it. But every person's different. Everyone's different.
So I noticed that you have a 21-day challenge. Is that focused at individuals or families or meat eaters or people that are transitioning, or everybody?
Everybody, really. Everybody. It's a 21-day challenge is just to see how far you can go in those 21 days without eating anything that's non-plant-based or vegan. And going with that 21-day challenge, if you need help with that, in other words, if you need like a beginning, like a little push, like to how do I start, I would give you that. I will let you know this is what you could start with. And but the 21-day challenge is really how long it can go, up to 21 days without eating any dairy or any meat products. And if you can do it in 21 days, you could do it internally. You could do it forever. In other words, it's like being a smoker. If you're a smoker, I was a 2-packer. When I was high in drugs and alcohol, I was a smoker too. So, when you're addicted to that, and you have to come off of that, you have withdrawal syndromes, you're with, withdrawals. Same thing with food. Food is an addiction. So you have withdrawals. Same thing. People have the reason why cheese is so hard to get rid of because there's so much sodium in it. It's not the dairy; it's the sodium they suffocate it with. So if you can get away from that, then you can keep on doing it. And when they do that 21-day challenge, and they feel better, they feel healthier, they feel stronger, that gives an incentive to keep on going too. So that's why I chose the 21 days. Just 3 weeks. If you could do it 3 weeks, you can keep on going.
Apart from the cheese, the excuse that I receive regularly is, I can do it, but my kids, they just wouldn't do it. And obviously, you're a family man, and I believe you've got grandchildren as well. How do you bring veganism into the home and link it to the environment, animals, their human health? And, this is just a generally good thing to do.
Well, not everybody's vegan in my family, but I'll take my oldest granddaughter, who's in third grade. So she's vegan. She's vegan. She loves animals so much, and she takes care of her. She lives so I'm in California. They're in New York. They live on the Great South Bay. It's a house on the water, basically, and they see the swans, the geese. They see different. Come right up to their land, right up to their beach. They have a private beach right up to their yard. So they feed them. They would feed them and stuff like that. So she was educated in the importance of animals. Not like, she just happened to she found that bond with them. When she realized, she's smart, when she realized that what she was eating originally was that, let's say, like she was eating chicken, it was a bird. And when she realized that, she didn't want it anymore. And so for her, it was awakening. So they make food for her that's plant-based. They go and buy for her, and she's great with it. Where I would have my youngest son, who's 28, who is half and half. Half of the stuff he eats is vegan. Like if I make a vegan dish, he's here, he'll have it. He loves it. But I think with him, it's more about laziness. Like, like people think it's a lot of work I don't think it's so much. What I'm realizing is not so much the food itself; it's the preparation to make it. Not realizing that it's probably easier, but at the same time, it's it's not different than making a non-vegan meal. But he's half and half, so they totally know why I do it. But seeing that my granddaughter is actually doing it is really an eye-waking moment for me. That she's so vegan for the animals. And that's an example. She's doing it because of the animals. She's not at that stage yet where it's for the environment or for health reasons. She's focused on for the animals because she understands animals are life. She understands they have feelings. She loves going to the farm. She loves she loves her dogs and her cats and her fish or whatever. And she knows that they're living things, but she doesn't want it on her plate.
It's great that children are actually learning how to be that way with animals. I believe there is a disconnect between us and animals. What do you think we can do education-wise to actually improve our relationship with animals?
Well, there are a lot of sanctuaries, at least here in the United States, that have programs educating bringing children, field trips, things like that, into the sanctuary and educating them the importance of animals, why they're really here. All the things that I just covered about feelings and emotions and smart and having them actually interact with the animals. If it's a farm animals, if it's your domestic animals, not most, but a lot of families have a dog or a cat or birds in their home, whatever, like a parrot or something. But the sanctuaries, just like in the school, a sanctuary, they do educational programs. And I know sanctuaries really well-known ones personally, and they even have a vegan chef come in and do cooking classes. So that's where you really they have to see it. I think the children have to actually visually see it And then once they're educated with that, when I was the executive director of an animal shelter, I would have field trips with the little ones, even nursery schools, like 3, 4, 5, 6 year olds. And I would always bring, our shelter didn't just have domestic animals. We also had snakes because, people surrendered their snakes or reptiles. I had a bearded dragon that was a rescue, and I had to put it on my shoulder. So I have a bearded dragon here, a kitten over here, a dog over here, and the kids' eyes are like this, just looking at like, wow, and I would teach them, and then I would say, you can pet them, and I would tell them, don't go to the front, go to the back. I did let them know because he might, he doesn't know. So I would teach them and what their purpose is, like the bearded dragon being in like a Southwest Arizona dry desert land, and the dog, how important it is to your dog as a family pet. It's not a product, it's a family pet. Take care of it like it's as part of your family. Same with a kitten, how we bottle feed the kitten. We have kittens, we have to bottle feed them every 2 hours. So things like that, I would just try to show them how to care and the importance of the energy bond of an animal and a human.
Tell me a little bit more about your own brand, Vegan Fit.
Well, Vegan Fit is not so much about the fit part as in fitness. It's more about the lifestyle. And that's why I use the term vegan fit, because it's a lifestyle. It's like anything, like any other lifestyle, it's a lifestyle. And my version of vegan fit for me is that you could live just like everybody else is living, a normal lifestyle, but you're living much more healthier. You're more conscious of your surroundings, like we mentioned, the environment, the animals, and your health. And people ask me, what is the fountain of youth? Vegan Fit. So your fountain of youth is what you put. 70% of your body, what you take in your body, is your workout. 70%. The 30% is actually working out and sleeping. So your fuel is what you take in. And that's where the Vegan Fit comes in as well. Before I became an animal welfare person, I was a fitness personality for a very long time. I was an athletic trainer, wounded care, and sterilization. So I used to once in a while, I would write the 15-minute workout for Men's Health, whatever it was. I had very high-end profile clients. I worked as a CPCT as well in the middle school with a child that had special medical situations. In regards to wounded care and sterilization. There was a skin disorder. So I even changed his eating habits. He was a horrible eater at 7th and 8th grade level. And I needed a break from everything. So that's why I started working in the school. And I got him to eat much more healthier based on my vegan fit ways, because he loved being an athlete, even though he couldn't participate fully in interacting in like a football or basketball and things like that. But again, when he was active, he felt better. When people sweat, a lot of sweat, we know that's all salt, sodium, toxic, whatever's in the foods that you're eating. So when you're eating much more in a vegan fit way and healthier way, you sweat less, you feel more energized. You're doing things you never thought you can do. So Vegan Fit to me it's a lifestyle. It's really an overall lifestyle. And that's where I focus on it. And people, Vegan Fit, people recognize it. They grab it. Oh, Vegan Fit. It's very simple. Vegan Fit. So it's just how you eat, what clothes you wear, what kind of clothes you wear. You don't wear the wool. Don't wear, things. People don't realize that a lot of the clothes, I don't wear any leather. There are beautiful items that look like leather, feel like leather, but it's not leather. So that's part of the Vegan Fit lifestyle. It's what you wear, what you eat, what you drink, things like that. And people think that they drink this energy drink or protein powder, but whatever it is, that's going to make you fit. It all, you see what I'm drinking? Filtered water in a jar. Okay, they call it a moonshine jar, and then my protein powder that I take is raw. It's a raw protein powder, and I mix it with a raw powder of vegetables, but it's like in the powder form. I put a little scoop of that into my normal protein powder, and but it's all plant-based. So vegan fit is an overall lifestyle. It's everything that you do. That's how I kind of, without dragging onto it, that's kind of what it is.
For some people who go vegan for the animals, they tend to neglect their health, and you've just covered it a little bit. But what advice would you give to somebody who maybe is living off a full processed food diet? Maybe it's Oreos and chips. How would you actually help them to transition from a processed food vegan diet onto something that's going to give them health benefits as well?
Well, that again, everything has a replacement, from the non-vegan to vegan. We go back to educating them about when they buy something, read the label. Do you understand what it says? No. Then why'd you grab it? Well, it was quick. It was easy. I can just grab, I could throw it in the microwave. So when you show them how easy it is to create food that's toxic and, with chemicals to keep it going, it's more about letting them know that the transition is more about that it's not as difficult as you think it is. And then when you show them that or explain it to them, one of my daily dishes I make a lot is a pasta dish. So when I make a pasta dish, I mix it with, like, people say, well, the greens are overcooked. No, what I do is if I throw greens in there, I don't cook the greens. They're raw. When I have garlic, it's raw. When I have spices, it's raw. I throw that at the end. And then the steam from the pasta kind of mixes in with the oils that I use and things like that. So it's like an al dente, we say, where it's soft, but it's not, destroyed, I guess, from cooking. So the nutrients are still there. When they saw that I can make that in 10 minutes, they're like, what? 10 minutes you made that? Yeah, it only took me 10 minutes. And I also explained to them that spices are everything in the meal. So when you're eating something like this, I don't want to eat that piece of cardboard. They're going to call something like it's stale and nothing. No, everything is based around spices. That's what keeps the flavors. Everything, and people say, well, I don't like to use olive oil because it's bad for you. No, olive oil is not bad for you because we're so commercialized to use coconut oil and avocado oil. No, all those oils are good for you. It's just a matter of what you prefer. So I mix it up too. So trying to explain to them that you don't have to get rid of everything that you were eating that was bad. You just have to recreate it in a plant-based vegan environment, and realizing that you can almost have your same taste based on spices and a lot less chemicals, and just showing them that it's not difficult. And when they do, again, you can't, it's like the old saying, you can't change a zebra's stripes. You can't change a leopard's spots. If they don't want to learn, they don't want to learn. But if they are interested and have even a slight interest, as long as you grab them to where you don't turn them off, they will keep on coming in steps and steps and steps. My vegan fit philosophy is the same as sobriety. It's the same thing as sobriety, because everybody's an addict. Everybody's an addict. Okay, so it doesn't have to be drugs and alcohol. It could be anything. It could be, like I said, food. It could be drinking. Drinking juices, and people don't realize how much sugar is in fruit juices, how bad it is. So there's other. So I just try to use that formula, and it seems to work for me. Now, it may not work for everybody, but because they say, I'm not an addict. I'm not an addict. I never said you were. I'm just showing you how I got to where I am and how it works for me. That's all.
Deepak Chopra said something quite interesting. He said you have taste buds for a reason, and they have different jobs to do. Some are salty, some are savory. Do you think that's a valid opinion? When you're making your vegan plant-based meals, the meal has to speak to all of your taste buds rather than just one or two, rather than just sweet or savory.
I don't think people go that deep and recognize about the breakdown. I think they just or like, again, it goes back to programming and conditioning. They eat because they have to. They may like the flavor. Like some people like really spicy overkill food, where I don't want hot stuff at all. Like I don't like that on my food. So is that going to discredit me from taste buds? No, it's just I like other things. So you don't need every single taste bud. You just need something to satisfy you. What satisfies you? Why do people eat sugar when they're stressed out? Because that's their comfort. Why do people eat spices knowing that they're going to turn red and they're going to basically have smoke coming out of their ears, but they're like, oh, that was great. How do you enjoy something like that? That's great. Where's the satisfaction of the taste buds for that? I don't see that. It's almost like a high, like, oh, I just got that great high. So I don't believe in that. It's to each his own. To each his own.
Yeah, there's room for everyone and all views and opinions in the world. And one of the reasons we've put on this vegan plant-based summit is to let people know that veganism is a lifestyle, and it's a healthy lifestyle that looks after humans, animals, and the environment. And we're trying to get the message across that we love everyone and everything. And, that's basically what you've just said.
The point you just made. We love to love. It's about love, happiness, forgiveness, kindness, right? All that. It's about kindness, about forgiveness. It's about helping others. # helping hands, teaching, educating. So what you just said, I don't like to commercialize it. I don't want veganism to be commercialized. I don't even like to use the word vegan all the time. I've been using plant-based a lot because people get offended. Oh, vegan. Oh my God. I don't want, they put that up. Oh, I don't want that. I don't want that. Vegan. No, you have to it's almost like massaging it into their world.
You have a saying, don't you, about the one person doing a little bit?
Oh yeah. If we all do a little, it becomes a lot.
So if we all do a little bit, then we'll see huge improvements globally in lots of different areas, especially the main three, which is animals, humans, and the environment.
Right. And it's all about teamwork. It's all about educating. It's all about leadership. It's just about anything. Listen, do I have all the answers? No. Do you have all the answers? No. Okay. People ask me, how are you a vegan for so long? Because I attacked it. As I was feeling better about me health-wise, because I was always an animal lover, since I was like 10 years old. I remember my first rescue. But but as I got healthier, consciously I was recognizing why I was getting healthier because of the way I was eating. And then as you get more and more of that and you distance yourself from the non-dairy, from the dairy and from the meats and stuff like that, you're realizing that it becomes an everyday lifestyle. It's just natural to me. It's nothing different, Even when I go into a restaurant, and yes, we can go into restaurants here. When we go into restaurants and they give you a menu, and I don't see any vegan options whatsoever on there. Okay, I ask them if they can do this, this, and this, and they say absolutely. Because I told them right from the get-go, I'm plant-based. No dairy, no creams or anything like that. And they said, no problem. I'll tell the chef that's what you want. Great, that's whatever. And I'll make sure that he cleans the grill too for you. Sometimes I'll even say that. So it doesn't hurt to ask. And if they say no, they say no. But then you try plan B, whatever it may be. But there's it's a life. What I'm saying is that people may be afraid to even ask. Like, what if I go into a restaurant? Ask. And I'm in California. There's a vegan place probably on every corner, for God's sakes. But I'm just saying, there's even restaurants will help you. You can still go out and enjoy your lifestyle, eating plant-based in a regular restaurant. If you have no problem sitting next to the person in another table, it's not. That's the other thing too. People that are so hardcore vegan-wise, they're like, I can't even stand and sit next to that guy eating a steak. Okay. Again, you can't change everybody. Focus on yourself. Worry about yourself. And when you worry about yourself, remember I say in my post, love yourself first. Love yourself first. So once you love yourself, then you can help others, and then may introduce them into that lifestyle.
So the general theme of coming through this summit at the moment is change starts with you.
In order to get people to introduce them to this lifestyle, you have to open the door to them. How much do you open the door? As much as they're comfortable walking in. And then once they come in, don't trap them, educate them. And then they'll understand, and they'll be more receptive to what you're trying to do for them, and recognizing why it is a very healthy lifestyle. Because in the old days, people used to say, "Oh, they're so skinny and they're so pale." I'm like, yeah, I'm 6'2", 225, 30 pounds of muscle, and okay, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not skinny and pale and frail. So you have to be careful of who you're asking about the lifestyle, because there are a lot of bad vegans out there, just like there are a lot of bad non-vegans out there. There's good and bad in everything. Always remember that. And that's why I say keep it real. Okay. You have to understand that. That's why I have such a following, because I keep it. I'm a truth seeker. I keep it real. You may not like it. You may not agree with it, but I'm not asking you to. I'm just asking you to accept what I'm saying. Just respect it. And that's how you'll grow people into the lifestyle, by opening up that door, and how much you open up the door. Give them the key to the door. Give them the key to the door and say, when you're ready, just unlock the door and come on in. So that's how I look at it.
That's great advice for the vegans out there that are a little bit extreme.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, stop being, don't be the problem, be the solution. That's really where it comes down to. And there's a lot of good people out. There's a lot of good vegans out there. There's a lot of really good people out there. But again, don't label me under that category, because I'm not like them. I'm me. You're you. Just do what we're here to do. And if I always say, think outside the box. If you get yourself stuck in a bubble, what happens with that bubble? It pops. And if it pops, you fall down. Where do you fall into? A spider web. If you fall into a spider web, you can't go anywhere. So think outside the box. Do your homework. Educate yourself on it. It's just like this book I have on Buddhism. Okay. I have this book on Buddhism. I still, and I have another one, because I learn about the Zens. Even though I'm a spiritual person and I was raised a Roman Catholic, but at the same time, I'm also very into the Buddhist teachings. And, one of the things that everything in the Buddhist teaching teaches you is kindness, and that's the one thing that we have that people, us humans, tend to forget, especially now. So if you want somebody to come into your world of the vegan lifestyle, be kind to them. Don't force anything. I never force anything on anybody. If you're not interested, I'm not going to waste my energy. But if you're interested, I'll give you all my energy. That's all. I keep it simple, man. I keep it simple. That was that old saying, keep it simple, stupid. I keep it simple. And that's how people seem to understand it. And and drink a lot of water. That's the other thing I tell people when you're living that lifestyle too, or any lifestyle, you got to drink a lot of water. 70% of our body is liquid based. People don't realize that. So you have to be hydrated all the time. And just remember, there's my cooking book that I'm going to be doing a vegan cookbook too. And it's not a complicated, like there's a million of them out there. It's recipes that anybody can do. My grandkids can do it. It's like really that simple. If you have 3 meals a day, we're supposed to have 3 meals a day, right? Unless you're a fit guy and doing 6 small meals a day or whatever. But if you're doing 3 meals a day and one of those meals is vegan, that's a great start. So gradually work your way in. It's like I tell people in sobriety, when you first become sober, you don't go from here all the way to here and get, I'm going to have green grass now. I'm going to drink protein. You know what's going to happen? You're going to go right back to where you were. Okay. So baby steps. You'll get there. Baby steps. All you have is time. You'll get there. And when you get there, you're going to feel so energized. You're going to feel so comfort. And we want to talk about plant-based. I mean, I can go forever with that. I'm not going to, but I can. Multivitamins is very important. There are plant-based multivitamins. Okay. I take them. And one of the things that I haven't mentioned that you probably don't know is I'm also a cancer survivor. Now, when I say cancer survivor, cancer runs in my family, breast, colon, and thyroid. I have thyroid. I had the beginning stages of thyroid cancer. And when I went to the doctor back in New York years ago, I went to the biggest hospital in the country, probably. It's in New York, Long Island Jewish. The head guy, it was a day thing. They found a black spot on my nodule of my thyroid. They removed the nodule, kept the thyroid, lifted it up. He told me what he was going to do. He was going to clean underneath. If there's anything else, I'll just clean it out. And that was it. I have a little tiny scar. You can't even see it right here. He told me that if I didn't live this lifestyle, he said this, if I didn't live a vegan, plant-based lifestyle, your 1.2 would have been a 2.6, what it means that you probably would have had your thyroid removed. So that's another thing too. The fountain of youth, the health lifestyle is the plant-based lifestyle. It will keep all the nutrients. I tell people, well, that steak has protein. Where do you think the cow gets its protein from? The grass, the grains. So why don't we bypass the cow and go right to the grains? So these are the common sense thing. I mean, intelligence comes from common sense. So my point with the thyroid is that he told me if I didn't live that vegan lifestyle, it probably would have been much higher level. So that's something to think about.
A lot of lifestyle diseases today are caused by diets.
And diets, I don't like the word diet. There's no such thing as a diet. Okay. It's about balancing your intake of food and eating a balance. When you feel full, stop. Okay. Don't overindulge. That's how people get heavy, this and that. And the same thing with when you're looking at, even if something looks healthy and it has like 500 milligrams of sodium on it, you don't want to eat it. I don't put salt on anything I have. Nothing is no salt. So your eating is a lifestyle too. So you have to, some people enjoy eating, like they sit there and they actually enjoy the meal, which most people do. I enjoy my meal, but I really eat because I have to, because if I don't eat, I'm going to die. So, but I want to enjoy it a little bit, but I don't go over bounds with it. So I eat, like in the morning, like breakfast, I might have, I have organic bread, like whatever. I may just have that with little butter and jelly on and toast it. And the butter, of course, it's non-dairy, but I have that with my coffee and I'm good to go, with a piece of fruit. Where at lunch, I might have, an Italian household, the biggest meal was always the lunch. That was the biggest meal. In Europeans, it's the meal. And then the nighttime, you have a light meal because it sits there. So that's another thing too, people have to realize, when you eat, how often you eat, and don't eat after a certain time because it takes that much to break down. So a lot of things like that you learn as you go eating the plant-based, and that will be, it's part of educating. This is part of educating. And so I try to teach that too, as well. And again, I keep it really simple. There's nothing difficult about it. And I don't, it's not like I do it full time. It's just when people, because people always say, how old are you? I mean, I have a beard right now because I'm lazy, but when I don't have like this gray stuff, they're like, how old are you? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, really? I'm like, yeah. It's a lifestyle. What is the fountain of youth? The fountain of youth is what you put in your body. That's it. People say, oh, drink. When remember they were pushing red wine. Oh, drink that red wine. Your blood pressure will come down. Yeah, and I'm a retard. I'm an idiot. Okay, yeah, sure. Instead of drinking wine, why don't I just drink grape juice? I'll drink pure grape juice. You tell me it's coming from the grapes, which keeps the blood pressure down. So why don't we just, instead of trying to market it and sell more wine, and I know a lot of people like their wines, but it's really from the grapes. Then why don't you just drink grape juice, like pure grape juice? Your blood pressure will go down, right? So I remember those things. So because there are things in wine that they don't tell you that are bad for you, which will, hurt your body as well. I'm not talking about the liquor thing. I'm talking about just what's in the wine of creating and making a wine, that it could hurt. It's like smoking. When you're smoking, your skin gets all dry besides your internal body, but your skin you age much quicker. Same thing with wine. If you're drinking liquor or wine, it's gonna age you much quicker too. So, and they said there's vegan wines out there. Okay, whatever. what makes it a vegan wine? That it was pulled out of a different farm. So, that's what I'm talking about. It's all marketing. It's a marketing thing. Just come to the basics. Just go to the basics. And when you get the basics of the vegan lifestyle, you will draw much more people because it's not confusing to them.
There's some great advice there. Thank you very much, Johnny. It's been great talking to you today.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.